Good day, grade sixes. I hope you've brushed your teeth, you've made your bed, and that you're being kind to your family members. Today we will continue our lesson about the types of poetry. Remember, you are busy writing an anthology where you are going to include a cover page, a acrostic poem, a concrete poem, and a limerick. And today we'll be spending some time on the limerick. For most of you, the limerick would be revision, since this is what we did during the last week of school before lockdown started. I'm going to start by reading you a limerick. Turkey limerick. There once was a turkey named Chummy. Mum thought that he might be quite yummy. He waddled away on Thanksgiving Day, but still ended up in my tummy. So a limerick is a humorous poem of 5 lines, a specific rhyme scheme, and a bouncy rhythm. Let's look at the structure and rules. A limerick has 5 lines. They are often funny or silly or humorous. The rhyme scheme is AABBA, which means that lines 1, 2, and 5 rhyme with one another, and lines 2 and 4 rhyme. To create that bouncy rhythm, lines 1, 2, and 5 have exactly the same amount of syllables or beats, usually between 8 and 11. Let's just quickly check that. You can actually count the amount of beats. There once was a turkey named Chummy. 9 beats, which means that lines 1, 2, and 5 will all have exactly the same amount of beats. And then lines 3 and 4 will have 5 or 6 syllables or beats. Okay, so let's write a limerick. I'm going to start by writing the first line of the limerick. The first line of a limerick usually ends with a name of a person or an animal or place. And just a tip, use a name or a place that rhymes with many words. For example, there once was a bulldog called Pretty. Pretty, witty, and city all rhymes with pretty. Remember that your first line has to have between 8 and 11 syllables or beats. So let's check ours. There once was a bulldog called Pretty. 9 syllables or beats. Now we're going to write lines 2 and 5. Remember that both lines have to rhyme with line 1, and then both have to have exactly the same amount of syllables or beats as line 1, and we've established that it's 9 beats. So here's an example. Who was very clever and witty. And line 5, she'd never be the next Miss City. For lines 3 and 4, I need to remember that these are the shorter lines and they consist of 5 or 6 syllables each. And these 2 lines also have to rhyme with one another. For instance, she wanted to win, but without a chin. And if we put them all together, this is what my limerick looks like. Bulldog limerick. There once was a bulldog called Pretty, who was very clever and witty. She wanted to win, but without a chin, she'd never be the next Miss City. So your poetry homework is to complete your poetry anthology by writing and adding your limerick, and I've included a checklist to make sure that you know what your limerick should look like. And then you also need to complete your poetry worksheet for 4 to 8 May. Have fun writing your limericks.